Gentlemen, welcome back to the Acer Teamstory Cup. I am Rifkin, and of course you're watching on Base Trade TV, and a man with far too much APM this early in the game. Spawning in the upper right corner of the map, representing Invictus Gaming, it is the man you know, the man you love to pun. It is Jim, the Blue Protoss. And his opponent in the lower left, representing Team Liquid, already up 1-0 in this series. A best of 9 between these two teams. It is Team Liquid's Taeja. And, yeah, some people kind of making jokes already saying Taeja setting himself up for an all-kill. Definitely not out of the question, but as I said earlier, you can never count Invictus Gaming out. There's a reason Jim and Max are really popular in the North American scene, and it's not because Rotterdam and Bitterdam, or sorry, I went for Bitterdam and I said Rotterdam is even full, but it's not because the guys at NASL have pimped them out and said, look, I love these guys to bits and the puns are fun. They're actually really solid players. However, that being said, an interesting point was made. TLO did a bit of an introduction with Take TV before this. Obviously, I didn't get to see it, sadly. However, he did take the time to mention that they had, as a team, been discussing these first couple maps because, of course, for the Teamstory Cup, if you guys don't know, this isn't loser's pick. Every week has a different order for the 9 maps they played in, but they're set ahead of time. So you'll know Yeonsu's the second map of the day. You'll know that Akalon Waste is coming up next, and, of course, Whirlwind will be map number 4. And at least the very first 2 starting maps, they agreed, really strong for their Terran players. So having someone like Taeja, a badass Terran player, out on the field right away, makes a lot of sense, especially if you're playing to the strengths and the weaknesses of the maps involved. But of course, Pesky Probe coming in here for Jim. Now, of course, so you guys know, a lot of the Invictus Gaming guys do share an account outside of, I think they've got their own accounts for NA. I could be wrong. Anyways, they do share accounts. So the China IG is the name you're going to see a lot today. And it is going to be Invictus Gaming. I'll do my best to try and keep you guys up to date with who is playing who. But in advance, please forgive me if I just say the China IG player, because a lot of times when you're commentating, you know it's Jim, but you're reading what is in front of you, and what is in front of you is literally China IG. Now, Taeja going for that really quick command center. Sorry, I'm talking about a lot of stuff. Let's get back to the game. Command center first. We got the barracks coming up next. Actually, double barracks too. A big reason you got to follow up with double racks behind this is just because of lack of units on the field. Your Protoss opponent sees this. If he scouts your base and sees 1 racks, not 2, he's definitely going to rush across the field. Chrono out a Zealot, get that Mothership Core out in the field, and a Stalker in your base before you can even have a bunker down to shut any of that out. Now, once again, not surprised to not see a Reaper out of Taeja. Again and again and again, Reapers are becoming less and less popular in the game. It's kind of cool too, because something as small as the Reaper getting phased out of the game, if you guys can remember too, like a month ago, hell 2 months ago, there were Reapers everywhere. There were people who were building strategies around Reapers. Reference Pult, making like 5 racks Reaper versus Protoss. But finally, things have gotten to the point where people realize, like, look, the SCV, it's getting the same scouting done. It doesn't cost me gas. And it might not get me any kills, but the Reaper isn't guaranteed to either, because players have such good micro now. It's actually kind of hard to pick off probes a lot of the time, especially in these professional top-tier matches. But in the meantime, looks like Taeja gonna poke out a little bit with some early Marine pressure. A little bit of a bold move. If you guys don't know, there's some magical numbers associated with Marines and Mothership Cores. You need basically 3 incredibly well microed Marines or 4 lazy Marines in order to take a Mothership Core down. And it's a little bit too early to force an overcharge, so if you can snipe out that Mothership Core and get out, this actually be really nice. But of course, with the Stalker here, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. That SCV from earlier will soak a little bit of the damage, not a whole lot, but Taeja actually takes the time to save it.
First blood.
Of course, one of the Marines do go down. Good a stutter step. Get quite a few probe kills here. A lot more than Taeja should have been afforded to off the small Marine push. Guys, this is 5 workers killed for about 5 or 6 Marines. In fact, we can see exactly how many. 5 Marines for 5 probes? I'll take that trade any day of the week as a Terran player. Now, of course, this doesn't mean like Taeja's in any trouble by any means. He's perfectly fine. Bunker up at home. Yes, he threw away some units, but he's got 3 racks behind us. Factory on the way. Stimpack researching. I mean, that was certainly not game-ending damage. However, it was more than enough to pay off for the initial harass. And I don't know, you guys. It's weird. Sometimes 5, sometimes 4. Hell, I've seen games decided on the fact of having 1 probe out on the field, or sorry, dead on the field this early in the game. But I mean, when you've got 37 probes to 36, again, it's not the end of the world, it's not the end of the game. but it's definitely not a happy spot for Invictus Gaming's Jim. Now that SCV is coming back in, I guess a glutton for punishment will finally get taken out by the stalkers, but tries to get back here to see what tech he can find. And let's see, did he see the Twilight Council? He did see at least the Twilight Council. This is going to be really good for Taeja scouting information for one of two reasons. One, the delayed Twilight Council means there's no Dark Templar coming soon, which means Taeja doesn't need to rush an engineering bay and he doesn't need to bank energy. He can continue muling like the best. Additionally, no Stargate, which means no Phoenixes, no Void Rays, no Oracles, nothing cheesy for him to have to worry about. And we do have this War Prism coming out really quick. Curious to see what Jim's going to do with this. There is that really awesome, I don't know if you guys have had the pleasure of seeing it, but Jim and Puck's going to be the two players I see do it most frequently versus Terra. And when you do War Prism and Immortals, but without the Immortals coming out first, I don't think that's what this is going to be in. In fact, I stand corrected entirely. We do have the Dark Shrine coming out now. So we'll most likely try and get some sneaky DTs in behind enemy lines and cause a bit of heck, just heck for Taeja. I mean, I don't know how you want to describe that. It's really easy to shut down Dark Templar as a Terran player. Somewhat of Taeja's quality, I absolutely expect to be able to handle it without too many losses, but it will certainly be annoying, if nothing else. Where's that scan going down, Taeja? I wish they would do pings on the map. There we go. Like, you know when you do nukes and Nidus Worms, it shows you where those go down? It'd be kind of cool if they did pings like on the actual Game Heart map, where just slight little things show where the scans are. But, alright, scans the tech, but, oh, actually, big question is, did he see the Dark Shrine? No, he did not. Ooh, boy. This could get dicey. So, man, Taeja, lots of Marines in the middle of the field. Lots of Marauders. Can put on some pressure for sure. But of course, Warp Prism going to start... It'll probably warp in some Dark Templar first. Then on transform and load up into the main. But Pylon going to be going down on the right side of the map. So perhaps a two-pronged hit. We'll have to see. I'm really worried for Jim, quite frankly. I mean, he's got the foot on overcharge, which is nice. He's got sentries, he's got zealots. He can take on the army of Taeja, but Taeja can just lift off and go back towards the main. He can be quite irritating, and will get a sentry kill immediately. Fighting within the overcharge could be a bit of a problem. We do see Marines and Marauders just stimming like crazy, trying to focus on those last couple sentries, and now has no problem cutting around the zealots. However, Dark Templar have been unleashed on the other side of the map. We'll pick off a couple of SCVs. And Taeja is actually going to come home entirely to deal with this. Looks like the main has been stopped mining. Going to reduce the losses by moving them away from Dark Templar, but as soon as Jim starts microing this, could change everything. Now 9 kills so far. There is a turret here. Oh, and Jim did not know that. Still walks into it. But Dark Templar the main also going to be forced to kill yet another scan. Can he get another kill? Almost 3 kills on that one guy. But some zealots now charging into the natural. Well, not charging per se, but going to get on in here. Charge is finished. I was just waiting for it to go off. But Jim, despite your little behind-the-scenes special tactics, couldn't quite cause a whole lot of damage. But what he did do was force the entire army back home. Now that's actually a really important thing, because if Taeja was allowed to push, if he's allowed to pick up to go to the main, we saw how much damage he did. He picked off the sentries. That means no Guardian Shield. That means no force fields. He didn't have a lot of zealots on the field, and of course the stalkers were picked off, or like this one here, really low. So that Dark Shrine, it may not have done a ton of damage, but it certainly kept him in the game in a big way. And this looks like the Warp Prism will finally be taken out. Oh no, actually, of course, I forgot. It does outrun Vikings now, guys. Ever since that last patch, Warp Prisms without speed do outrun Vikings. So sadly for Taeja, can't quite clean this up yet, but if Jim just leaves the Warp Prism AFK, he'll take some more fire on it for sure. And if he can keep that Warp Prism under check, if he makes sure that this isn't putting any more units on the field, he can push across the field with his heart's content, and yo, Warp Prism will go down. But okay, coming up, we got Storms, we got Templar, but oh, there's a little, okay, there'll be about 3 Storms ready for this fight. Will it be enough is going to be the big question. Will they, oh no, will they even be in the right position is going to be the next question, as Taeja is lifted up and is going to go straight towards the main. We do have Templar here ready for feedbacks. 2 feedbacks, at least medevacs could be huge, but I think he's going to need the Storm a little bit more. Zealots, of course, going to try and charge to connect. Beautiful Storm goes down. A lot of these Marines, of course, within the Time Warp can't run out of it. Zealots trying to connect to this army, but of course, oh, Jim, you're waiting for an attack over your third, which is not coming. You need to get your army back home. You're losing your infrastructure. Storms, once again, a couple more good Storms do go off. This army is so damn low. A couple good charge lots will clean this up, and Jim will hold to see another day. But man, if he had just brought his army a little bit quicker, I feel the damage would have been left. It's devastating. Lost his robotics facility, guys. Didn't have Colossus, so not the core of his tech. Not the end of the world, but a really rough loss to take already. But of course, with Templar on the field, he's going to be able to keep dishing out damage to Bio. We're going to have those Ghost Wars. If you guys don't know, it takes 2 snipes to kill a Templar, but of course 1 feedback to kill a moderately energized Ghost. So it's kind of funny because both have the same energy. And it's not even a question of micro, it's just about range and timing. So it can be a little bit irritating for a Terran player to deal with the Templar counts, but EMPs, of course, are a nice sort of blanket resource. If your opponent has no energy, they cannot storm you, and they cannot feedback you. So you see a lot of players forego the snipe feedback war in favor of just spamming some EMPs. But looks like we had a drop. Go back here in the main. Goes for the Robo Facility. Oh, almost gets it again. 198 health, but of course being on the low ground, Taeja abusing the terrain to his greatest advantage. Oh my god, now he's going to get the Robo Facility for sure. Knocks it down. Really well played, sir. Tip of the hat to you. Oh my god, Taeja. What a great snipe there. Jim cannot get an inch in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Storm's, of course, still being produced. He's okay in that regards. Lots of gateways on the field. Exactly how many you say? Looks to be about 10. So producing a wave of Zealots, not going to be an issue. He just needs to have the bank for it. Of course, we look at the upgrades now, so we have not paid a lot of attention to those for quite some time. Currently 2-2 for our, or sorry, 2-1 for our Protoss player to the 1-1 of Taeja. But of course, 2-2's finishing up here very shortly for both players. Of course, the big thing here is storms are magic. They're spells. They don't give a good gosh darn about armor. And of course, 80 damage versus what, 55 health Marines? If you get another good time warp down, he can do a lot of damage. But meanwhile, back at home, some Zealots run by. And this is going to force Taeja to come back home, I feel. He might not have enough, but oh my god, the supply depot's here. Choking the Zealots hardcore. Cannot get the surface area to connect. And Jim's... Wow, Jim's actually going to be shut down here quite nicely. Taeja, though, once again, he's on the hot foot. He's looking to put some damage into the base of Jim. Lots of ghosts currently on the field. Oh my god, there's going to be so many EMPs. This Archon has just got to be the saddest panda in the world right now. Feedback's going off. EMP's going off. Both players just kind of chipping away, poking at the other for now. A blind storm goes down, not knowing whether there's anything there. For you guys who are wondering why he's doing this, he doesn't know if the ghosts are still there or not. And of course, he's got no detection, so it's the only way he can try and snipe it off. But pylon here at the base in the lower right will finally be shut down. Zell's going to charge right on in, but of course, Bio is just a little bit too strong. No Colossus on the field. This one Marine... Oh no, is this one Marine really going to kill a Templar? A full energy Templar almost gets the storm down, but oh my god. Taeja with the clutchest kills this game, guys. Whether it's the Robo Facility or whether it's a one Marine push, Jim just cannot find any sort of room in this game. Now, of course, we got Vikings being produced here for Taeja. He's expecting a Colossus swap, and quite frankly, I would have too, but Jim was shut down so hardcore with his Robo Facilities. And I say facilities plural, because yes, that is, of course, what happened. He was unable to get those down, but it looks like both players are going to be attacking the fourth bases of one another. I like that the Zealots went for this missile turret, so this allows Dark Templar to be warped in. Perhaps we'll catch this army here. Oh, Taeja gonna get some probes on the way out though. Kind of like a beast backed into a corner. Gonna take a couple more kills and get on out. But looking at the resources lost right now, definitely not looking too good for Jim. I don't know what to tell him. At this point in the game, it's a pretty even army supply. But with this many ghosts on the field, that could change in a heartbeat. But same says, it's the same to be said for ghosts, guys. It's a little bit, or not, sorry, ghosts, for Jim. You got storms which are going to blanket a ton of damage. You got EMPs which will effectively blanket a lot of damage. Just even if you miss the Templar, stripping off 50 zealots, 50 shields rather worth of health off those zealots, you know, it's just as good as landing a storm. So this could go either way for both player. But looks like Jim with such good run bys this game, constantly trying to get around his opponent, but being shut down every single time he tries. This is a huge zealot run by, and there's 3 command centers. Will he go for the SUVs? Will he go for the command centers? We'll have to wait a second to see. Taeja saw this coming with his patrolling Viking, trying to get back into his own base. Oh god, looks like he won't get here in time. SUVs will be massacred, but I don't know. The big question is whether it's going to be enough. Hold position here by Jim to make sure he gets more SUV kills, not wanting to focus on the Marines. You know, funny enough, with the way this game's been going economically, I didn't even check the workers killed till just now. 28 killed by Jim, so this constant harass is up, but Taeja's only killed 9 probes this game, guys, and let's not forget 5 of those probes were from those very quick 5 initial Marines. But oh my god, Taeja, you've done a lot of cool things this game. Will you continue the cool streak as he 3 nukes are on the way? Love to see how he's going to utilize this. Storm Score's going down, gonna get some nice feedbacks as well, but all the EMPs drain those Templar. And oh, that's a bit rough. Jim really needs, I mean, he's got Colossus now, that much is for certain, but he needs some more Storms if he really wants to deal with this army. As we see here, without any Stalkers on the field, Vikings just going to town on the Colossus. They're not going to live for long. EMPs are going off left and right. Jim may not even have to worry about the nuclear missiles if he can't clean up this army. Fighting on the ramp here, a bit of a choke. No more AoE left in the arsenal of this Protoss player. Jim doesn't have a lot to hold on with. Vikings are now being landed. I think Taeja may have just secured himself a game 2. 3 nukes, guys, not 1, not 2, but 3 nukes are coming down at the natural, although they're not going to have anything to actually hit. Taeja is a showman, if nothing else. Count them, guys. 1, 2, 3. I guess, you know, it's a little bit cooler than Manor Mules, let's be honest. But Taeja does land those nukes, does get to utilize them. Jim with still this extra base on the field, but again, no area of effect available, no Storms, no Colossus. I don't know how he can hold on to this. If he can, it's going to be a miracle. But a couple Dark Templar even in this mix, getting EMP. Good game is finally thrown down, and Taeja will secure a game 2 for Team Liquid. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That was a that was a really fun game. Of course, let's not forget, guys, if you love Jim, he's not completely gone yet. The Acer Teamstory Cup does have a rule that allows you to resurrect players, so there's a chance we may see him come back for Game 5. We'll have to see how this goes, but for now, we're going to run some more ads while we get the next lobby up. Still on the Korean server, still Team Liquid versus Invictus Gaming. Guys, don't go anywhere. Be back shortly.